This is the last story we're recording this week because it was the first story we did this week, but I forgot to record it. So Peter's going to talk to us about John Oliver's expose on data brokers and online tracking. Today's Not So Critical update.
Yeah, we did talk about this before, but I've forgotten everything because it was approximately 5 hours ago that we started recording. But hey, anyway, yeah, John Oliver, if you're not familiar, is a comedian, and he has a show called Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And he does this kind of deep dives where he starts off with a quick roundup of the news for the week, and then he spends 20 minutes talking about a particular topic every week. And it's on just shitty things in the world, usually. Stuff like opioids, health insurance, prisons, just really terrible things, and how things that people don't know too much about, and how they're really bad. And this week it was on data brokers and how nothing you do on the internet is private, and how it's possible to buy from these big companies data about what you're doing online. And he had a few examples. The one thing that we talked about in an earlier recording, or later recording, if you're watching this on who knows, we'll see.
No way to know.
Yeah, was an app for Muslims that was a prayer assistance map. So it reminded them to pray during the day, and it told them which way to face, I think it was, and fairly kind of little toy kind of thing, useful utility. And their information was sold to a data broker, and then sold on to the US government, which is just, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but that just seems wrong.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. So bad. And it's the kind of thing that people are just not usually aware of at all. So yeah, one of the highlights of the show.
He talked about kind of two aspects of it. One was the idea of these data brokers who are collecting this information and buying and selling it and trading it, and that they build these giant comprehensive online profiles that sometimes even claim are anonymized, but super easy to de-anonymize.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, one of the stats that he shared that I really kind of surprised me was that 99.98% of Americans can be de-anonymized with 15 data points.
How long have we been doing this, Mike? And you're still surprised by that? I mean,
I guess I'm just surprised by how awesome big data can be, and how powerful it is, and the things that you can do.
It's like, really?
Yes.
Well, I wonder what I could do with that. So how much does it cost?
See? Now you're thinking. How hard can it be to find 15 data points on someone? And I go find that person with 99.98% accuracy?
Mike Sutton, 123 Cedar Grove, birthday. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about this, Peter. Always trying to dox people.
Peter lunges at the idea of doxing.
No, he can't help himself. He loves sharing personal information. For somebody who's so privacy focused.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Well, and then the other piece was the ad targeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, were you going to say something, John?
No.
Because last time we reported it, you did a nice little intro where I got to explain the whole thing.
Go ahead.
Last time we did this, John was like, and isn't this the thing where he tried to blackmail politicians? And I helped you explain.
That's right.
That's exactly what I said, yeah.
One of the headlines that people were talking about this episode from John Oliver was that what he did at the end was he, because you can buy profiles like data packs of people who match certain criteria, like what was the name? Congress and Cabinet.
Yeah,
was one of the things. And
was it a list that he bought? I thought they just came up with the criteria and let the targeting take care of it.
Yeah, he did. It just was the fact that you could target people on specific things like this.
Like he bought that package, right?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So he he was able to place some ads targeted at people living within 5 miles of the White House or Capitol Hill.
Capitol Hill,
Capitol
right.
building. Yeah.
Who are over 45 years of age, and I think one other one was that they earned a certain amount of money.
Maybe like they checked in at certain restaurants or something. I don't. Maybe
something like I can't
Some
remember.
fairly
vague enough
innocuous
data points to
criteria.
be able to, yeah.
And then placed 3 ads, and one of them was yes you can vote twice, and one was erotic fiction by Ted Cruz,
or
and
yeah,
there was
something about divorce. Maybe was the third one.
Yeah. Divorce doesn't have to be hard or something like that. You don't have to be alone.
Jesus Christ.
Something like that. And they just waited and to see who would click on it.
They fell right into the trap.
Hundreds of people did, and I think male as well was probably another criterion. And the thing is, when you click an ad, you immediately give more information about yourself, so your IP address, and that can then be linked to other like data sets as well. So once you've got that IP address, you can say, all right, what else do we know about this IP?
Well, we know it's from the White House.
Yeah, yeah. Right. There was 3 people inside the White House apparently, and so he kind of came up with this big Manila folder of like, this is all the data we got, and it was not just a few.
Yeah, because tying back
wow.
to the 15 data points to identify somebody, they had a handful of data points that they started with. They had additional data points that they gathered when people actually clicked through the ad. So they were actually able to start de-anonymizing people in this known group that they were targeting to figure out who specifically in the US Congress clicked on these ads, which is presumably what's in the envelope.
So the other cool thing about it was, which I didn't know at the time, was apparently back in I think it was the 80s or the 90s, there was this case where a journalist walked into a video rental store and bought the video rental history of a Supreme Court nominee.
Robert
Bork, right, yeah. And it wasn't illegal. It was perfectly, it's just something you could buy. You could buy data on someone. And when he did it and he wrote this report, there were, like, Congress almost overnight turned around the Video Privacy Act, or Video Data Privacy Act, and which banned the ability to do this. So John Oliver's point was like, well, guys, listen, if you are worried about what we might do with this information, then perhaps you should channel some of that energy into making sure that it's not possible to do this in the first place.
It's beautifully done.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
And you said that in the screenshots and stuff, you could see DuckDuckGo and Brave and
yeah, when John Oliver was introducing the whole thing, or talking about data brokers and how they work, and actually just before he talked about the Muslim app, the Muslim helper app, whatever, he was like, well, this sort of stuff shouldn't be the responsibility of the end users. There are things you can do to protect yourself online. Like you can, and then he had a logo, a thing above him with the logos of like DuckDuckGo and Brave and Firefox and things like that. And he's like, yeah, but it shouldn't be their responsibility. You shouldn't have to go the way to use technology.
At that point, I actually didn't, but I do disagree.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll explain.
Okay,
So,
yeah, you do that, John.
A little bit of an extreme example, but it's like saying it shouldn't be. It's like it shouldn't be the responsibility of people to learn what to do during an atomic bomb blowing up.
Oh, come
Right?
on.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's like cause
I'm
and
not there
effect
yet.
in a way, and like how you prepare for something.
Right. Yeah.
What?
I get where you're
I
going,
don't
but
totally
I'm
get
not
the
along
analogy.
for the ride.
Basically what I'm saying is it's like this is here and it's occurring, so it's like it shouldn't be on you to do it, and he's saying it should just be stopped at the source, which totally is true.
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
same time,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like saying I shouldn't wear a
No.
seatbelt because of idiot drivers. It's
There
not
shouldn't
my
be
fault
idiot
that you're
drivers,
drinking
therefore
and
I don't need to
driving.
wear a seatbelt.
Exactly.
I shouldn't
It
have
feels-
to do this, therefore I won't.
It's
No.
like, well, no,
No.
not because he doesn't say therefore I won't. right? He just says that it shouldn't. It's like he's putting the blame in the right place. But if I want to protect myself, I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to use the tools available to me.
I'm going to rip off my mic and just walk out of this interview right now. This is. I'm sorry, but I don't. Using that argument is like saying, well, why should we have laws against murder?
It's like saying like murder is illegal, like crime is illegal.
Not expect someone to stab you. Like, that's fair, right? You shouldn't expect someone to do something obviously and clearly wrong.
No, I just didn't like the phrasing of it. Like, it shouldn't fall on the user to protect themselves. It shouldn't fall on me to lock my door at night. Like,
no, this isn't like an accident. This isn't careless drivers. This isn't something that you just have to protect yourself against something naturally occurring. This is predatory companies who go out and scrape as much data as they can about you and then resell it for profit so that other people can use it to manipulate.
I think John is right. I feel I shouldn't take any precautions to protect myself from anything. That's my lesson here.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm glad.
Wait, what happened to your mic, Peter? I remember the little studio mic you had with the ribbon and the.
I did have a little bit of mic.
You could have heard the mic noises and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. You will not see me next week.
Next week. Well, I don't know. I agree. I guess I just didn't like the phrasing. I didn't like the way you put it.
I think I don't remember his exact words, but
okay.
It sounds the same as what Peter always tells me. Is like it shouldn't be the person's responsibility. It just shouldn't happen. Okay.
But because it's happening, I'm going to do what I can, including using tools like DuckDuckGo and Brave and
me too.
uBlock Origin.
Not me.
It's like, give me all the ads. Track me to the end of time.
He did put out one interesting statistic, which I thought I was curious where it came from, because I think we've had this question before. Mike has tried to prove that people don't care about tracking online, and 70% or 75% of Americans think that they're being tracked too much, which made me wonder about the other 25%, to be honest. But like, it was a much higher than 50%. And I thought of you, Mike, when I was watching that.
In what way? So I'm going to tell you why I think you're wrong in your conclusion. But first, tell me what your conclusion from that is. Why do you think? What did you take from that? That people do care about it?
Most people don't care. Yeah.
And you're saying that's evidence that people do care?
Yeah. Isn't it?
No, I don't think so. This is what I've said before.
This is the power of denial, guys. This is how you can twist the.
Saying you care about something is not the same as caring about it. If you ask me, do I want to be tracked? No, I don't want to be tracked. Am I actually going to take action to not be tracked? No. So do I really care about it or not?
I don't know. It's a subjective viewpoint of what the word care means and how you can measure that. I don't think there's a rule for care.
True. That's a good point, Peter. Well said, too. Really came on strong against Mike. Berbutal was approved.
What does care mean?
Wrong.
I cannot gauge your
care meter.
What's going on here? Like, what's going on? Have we just been? What time is it? Jesus,
it's been too long. That's what time it is. It's been too long.
Why don't you give the time in John's local time zone, Peter?
Hours. Yeah, exactly.
What is that again, John?
It's actually 2 a.m. here right now. Did I say 2 a.m.?
Drip little bits of personal information.
Just need 15. Remember?
Am I in Egypt? Where am I? New Zealand? You don't know.
You're in space, dude. We can see behind you.
Obviously.
Beyond space and time.
Yeah, always. Just like our episodes. Schrodinger's episodes. When is this going to come out? Tomorrow? Yesterday? Find out. But don't forget to like and subscribe. And join our Discord channel.
Yep, that's it.
That's the one. Oh, thank God.
All right. I think we got there, despite my